I hit the floor hard, knees first, then palms. The wood was cold, polished. I could smell the birthday cake, pink frosting, too sweet. My son stood over me, laughing. My wife's mother is the real grandma. You weren't even invited. 30 people watched, some held phones, the children stopped singing, the music kept playing. I tried to stand. My hands shook. My cardigan had a stain now. Coffee, someone's coffee. Michael kept laughing, until he didn't. He saw someone behind me. His face went white. A hand reached down, steady, familiar, a man's hand, dark suit sleeve. Are you all right? The voice was calm, professional. Michael knew that voice. I looked at my son, then at the man behind me. Something changed in that moment. If you've ever been pushed aside by your own child, stay with me. Comment where you're watching from. This is for you. What happened next changed everything. And I'm going to tell you why I let it happen. 6 weeks before that birthday party, I sat in my kitchen. The sun came through the window. It hit the oak table my husband built 35 years ago. I traced the grain with my finger, smooth, worn in places where we'd eaten thousands of meals. The garden outside was green. I'd tended it for 3 decades. Tomatoes, basil, roses by the fence. On the table sat a music box, small, wooden. I'd saved for months to buy it. It played, "You Are My Sunshine," the song I used to sing to Emma when she couldn't sleep. Emma, my granddaughter, 7 years old next month. I wrapped the music box in yellow paper, her favorite color. Then I placed it in a gift bag with tissue paper. The butter cookies were cooling on the rack. My mother's recipe, my grandmother's before that. I taught Emma how to make them last fall. She'd gotten flour on her nose. We'd laughed. I pulled out the old tin, red, dented on one side. I packed the cookies carefully, tied a ribbon around it. On the refrigerator hung a photo, me and Emma, baking together, her hands covered in dough, my apron dusted with flour. We were smiling. The brass lamp sat on the side table. My husband's, 40 years old, still worked perfectly. My phone buzzed. A text from Michael. Emma's birthday, Saturday 2 p.m. Short, but that was normal. He was busy. I texted back a heart emoji. I had no idea it would be the last gift I'd ever try to give her. I arrived at 2 o'clock, exactly on time. I wore the blue cardigan Emma had complimented last Christmas. The cookies sat in their tin on the passenger seat. The wrapped music box rested in the gift bag. Michael's house looked the same. 2-story colonial, white with black shutters. The driveway was full of cars. I knocked. No one answered. I could hear music inside. Laughter. Children shouting. The party was happening. I knocked again. The door opened a crack. A woman I didn't know looked out. "Can I help you?" "I'm Margaret, Michael's mother. I'm here for Emma's birthday." She looked confused, then uncomfortable. "I'll get Michael." The door closed. I stood on the porch, holding my gifts, waiting. When the door opened again, Michael stood there. He wore a pressed shirt, khakis. He looked past me, not at me. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "It's Emma's birthday. You texted me." That was a mistake. I didn't understand. I held up the gift bag, the cookie tin. I brought her present, and the cookies she loves. "You need to leave." Behind him, I could see the living room. Balloons, pink and white. A long table covered with presents. Diana, my son's mother-in-law, sat in the center chair. Emma was on her lap. They were opening gifts together. Diana wore a silk blouse, pearls. She looked like she belonged there. Emma hadn't seen me yet. "Michael, I don't understand. Why would you tell me to come if—" I said it was a mistake. His voice was louder now, sharp. "Diana is Emma's grandmother now. She's the one who's here for her. She's the one who matters." The music was too loud. Someone had turned up the speakers. Happy Birthday played on repeat. "I'm her grandmother too." "Not anymore." I tried to step forward, tried to see Emma, my granddaughter, the little girl I'd rocked to sleep, the one I'd taught to bake, the one who called me Grammy. Michael blocked the doorway. "You need to leave, now." "Michael, please. I'm your mother. I raised you. His hand came up fast, palm flat against my shoulder. He pushed. Not hard enough to be violent, but hard enough. I wasn't ready. My weight shifted back, my feet tangled. I fell. The steps were behind me. I hit them on the way down. My knee cracked against the edge. Then my palms scraped the concrete. The gift bag flew. The music box tumbled out, hit the walkway, cracked open. The melody started, tinny, broken. You are my sunshine. Then it stopped. The cookie tin landed beside it. The lid popped off. Cookies scattered. Some broke. I was on my hands and knees on the walkway. The smell of butter and sugar mixed with the smell of grass, fresh cut. I looked up. Michael stood on the porch. He was laughing. See, she's too old for this anyway. 30 people stood behind him now. They'd come to the door, to the windows. Some had phones out, recording. The children had gone quiet. One little boy was crying. Emma pushed through the crowd. She saw me. Her face went pale. Grammy? Diana pulled her back, held her tight. Emma's face disappeared into Diana's shoulder. My knee throbbed. My palms burned. I could feel the scrape, the sting. I tried to stand. Behind me, a car door closed. Footsteps, steady, purposeful. A hand reached down. A man's hand. Strong, familiar. Are you all right, Margaret? I looked up. Richard Grayson, my late husband's best friend, the family lawyer, the man who drafted my will 6 months ago, the man who knew every asset Michael had been counting on. He wore a dark suit. He'd been driving by, saw the cars, stopped to say hello. Instead, he'd seen this. He helped me stand, brushed the dirt from my cardigan, picked up the broken music box, the scattered cookies. Then he looked at Michael. Michael's face had gone white. The laughter died in his throat. I think we need to talk, Michael, about a few things. Richard's voice was calm, even, but there was steel underneath. Michael stepped back. His mouth opened, closed. No words came out. I looked at my son, at the broken cookies, at Emma hiding in Diana's arms, at Richard standing beside me. I looked at the red scarf around Michael's neck. I'd knitted it when he was 10 years old. He still wore it, even now. Something broke inside me, not my heart, something deeper. I made a decision that would change everything. I was done begging. It was time for consequences. Richard drove me away from that house. Michael didn't try to stop us. He stood on the porch, frozen, watching us leave. In the car, I said nothing. My hands shook in my lap. I still held the broken music box. The cookies were gone, crushed into the concrete. Richard drove slowly, carefully. He didn't ask questions, he just drove. After 10 minutes, he spoke. Margaret, I need to tell you something about Michael. I know. My voice came out flat, empty. He's been waiting for me to die. Richard's hands tightened on the wheel. He glanced at me. How did you know? I'm his mother. I've seen the way he looks at the house, the trust fund. I've seen him calculate. I just didn't think he'd push me in front of his daughter. There's more. I looked at him. 3 months ago, Michael came to my office. He asked about accelerating inheritance procedures. He wanted to know if there were ways to speed up the process. The car felt cold. The heater was on, but I felt cold. He asked if there were grounds to declare you incompetent, legally unfit to manage your own assets. I closed my eyes. How much does he owe? $180,000, credit cards, crypto investments, personal loans. He's drowning. And Diana? She has money, real money. She's been paying for everything. Emma's school, their mortgage, their car payments. She's buying her place in that family. I thought about the silk blouse, the pearls, the center chair. And Michael needs me gone so he can inherit the house and the trust fund. $640,000 for the house, $420,000 in the trust. Yes. I did the math in my head. $1,060,000. That's what I was worth to my son. Dead. Richard pulled up to my house. The house I'd lived in for 35 years. The house where I'd raised Michael, where his father had died, where every room held a memory. What are you going to do? Richard asked. I don't know yet. But I did know. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud. He walked me to the door, made sure I got inside safely. Then he left me his card. Call me, anytime. I locked the door behind him. The house was dark. I didn't turn on the lights. I sat in the living room. The brass lamp sat on the side table. I didn't turn it on. I sat in the dark. On the wall were photos. Michael at 5, gap-toothed, smiling. Michael at graduation, proud, tall. Michael on his wedding day, Jennifer beside him, both of them glowing. In every photo, I was there. In the background or beside him, always there. I opened the drawer of the side table. Inside was a box, old letters. I pulled one out. Michael's handwriting, age 8, pencil, careful letters. Dear Mom, thank you for taking care of me when I was sick. You stayed up all night. You are the best mom in the world. I love you forever. Michael. Forever had been shorter than I thought. I put the letter back, closed the drawer. My phone buzzed. A text from Michael. Mom, you embarrassed us today. Don't contact Emma again. I stared at the words. Read them 3 times. Then I set the phone down. I didn't reply. I went to the kitchen, made chamomile tea. My hands were steady now. I sat at the oak table, the one my husband built. I ran my fingers over the grain. Richard's card sat next to my cup. I thought about Emma, her face when she saw me on the ground, the way Diana pulled her away. I thought about Michael, laughing, pushing, waiting for me to die. I thought about the music box, broken, the melody cut short. Then I picked up my phone, called Richard. He answered on the second ring. Margaret, I need to rewrite my will, as soon as possible. Are you sure? I raised a son who thinks love is a transaction. I need to teach him that actions have consequences, not because I hate him, because I love him enough to let him fall. I'll prepare the documents. We can meet tomorrow. Thank you. I hung up. The tea had gone cold. I poured it out, made a fresh cup. Then I sat down with a notepad, started making a list. The next morning, I met Richard at his office. He had everything ready. We went through it line by line. First, the will. Currently, Michael inherits everything upon your death. House, trust fund, personal assets. We'll change that. All assets go into a trust for Emma. She receives it at 25, but only if Michael can prove 3 consecutive years of financial responsibility. No debt, steady employment, clean credit. Richard wrote it down. If he can't prove it, then the money goes to charity, children's literacy programs, in Emma's name. Understood. Anything else? Yes. To access any of it, Michael must complete 200 hours of volunteer work with senior citizens, nursing homes, meal delivery, whatever he chooses, but it must be documented. Richard nodded, kept writing. Second, all financial support stops immediately. I've been paying his car insurance for 2 years. That ends today. The supplementary credit card in his name, cancel it. The $500 I send every month, quote, just in case, unquote, that stops. Done. Third, I'm selling the house. Richard looked up. Margaret, are you certain? He's waiting for it. He's counting on it. I won't let him sit around waiting for me to die so he can have it. I'm selling it. 60% of the proceeds go into Emma's trust. 40% goes into an account for my own living expenses. Where will you go? There's a condo development by the lake. 1 bedroom, view of the water, quiet. I've looked at it before. I'll be fine. Richard was quiet for a moment. Then he continued. Fourth, and this is important, complete silence. You will not call, not text, not visit. You'll let him face the consequences alone. What about Emma? Emma is innocent. If Jennifer contacts you, you can respond, but not through Michael. He needs to understand what it means to be cut off. I thought about Emma's face, her voice. Grammy? My chest tightened, but I nodded. I understand. Margaret, this is going to be hard. He's going to panic. He's going to call, beg, maybe even threaten. Are you prepared for that? I've been preparing for this my whole life. I just didn't know it. Richard slid the papers across the desk. A pen. Sign here. and here, and here. I signed. Each signature felt like a door closing, but also like a window opening. It's done, Richard said. The new will is effective immediately. I'll file it today. I'll also notify the insurance company and the credit card company. The changes will be in effect by tomorrow. And the house? I'll connect you with a real estate agent, someone I trust. She can have it listed by the end of the week. Thank you, Richard. He walked me to the door, put a hand on my shoulder. You're doing the right thing. It doesn't feel like it now, but you are. I wanted to believe him. I drove home. The house looked the same, white siding, black shutters, the garden I'd tended for 3 decades. But it didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like something I needed to let go of. That night, I packed a box. Photo albums, my mother's china, my husband's brass lamp, the things that mattered. Everything else could be sold with the house. I lay in bed, stared at the ceiling, thought about Michael as a little boy, sick with fever. I'd stayed up all night, put cool cloths on his forehead, sang to him. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. The same song that played in the music box, the one he'd destroyed. I closed my eyes. This wasn't revenge. This was a mother's last lesson to her son. You can't push away the people who love you and expect them to catch you when you fall. The first week was quiet. Too quiet. I didn't call Michael. I didn't text. My phone stayed silent on the kitchen counter. Every morning, I expected it to ring. It didn't. On Tuesday, my routine changed. No good morning text to send. For 8 years, I'd texted Michael every Tuesday morning. Good morning, sweetheart. Sometimes he'd reply. Sometimes he wouldn't. But I always sent it. Not this Tuesday. On Wednesday, the real estate agent came. Her name was Patricia. She walked through every room, made notes, took photos. It's a beautiful home, Margaret. We'll have no trouble selling it. How long? In this market? 2 weeks, maybe 3. Good. By Thursday, the sign went up. For sale. Red letters, white background, right in the front yard where everyone could see. I watched from the window as cars slowed down. Neighbors stared. Some stopped to take pictures. My phone rang that afternoon. Michael. I let it ring. Didn't answer. He called again. Then again. I turned the phone off. On Friday, Richard called from his office line. Margaret, Michael just called me, multiple times. He's asking what's happening. What did you tell him? That you've made decisions regarding your estate and your life, that he should respect those decisions. What did he say? He said the house is his inheritance, that you can't just sell it. What did you tell him? That it's your house, your money, your choice. I could hear Richard smile through the phone. He's scared, Margaret. Good. That weekend, Michael drove to my house. I saw his car pull up, watched him get out. He walked around the yard, stared at the for sale sign, touched it like he couldn't believe it was real. He came to the door, knocked, kept knocking. I sat in the living room, didn't move, didn't answer. Eventually, he left. The following Monday, the insurance company sent him a notice. Car insurance terminated. He'd need to find his own policy, pay his own premiums. $340 a month. That Tuesday, his credit card was declined. He was at the grocery store. I know because Jennifer told me later. He had a cart full of food, reached for his wallet. The card didn't work. People in line behind him, waiting, watching. He had to put everything back. The supplementary card I'd given him, the one linked to my account, it was gone now, canceled. On Wednesday, the bank sent him a notice. His account was overdrawn, $1,200 in the negative, $35 in overdraft fees, every day. The $500 I'd sent monthly, the money I'd deposited on the first of every month for 2 years. Just in case, I'd always said. He'd been counting on it. He didn't have it anymore. By the end of the second week, Jennifer called. Not Michael, Jennifer. Margaret, I need to talk to you. Her voice was tight, angry. What's happening? Michael's insurance is gone. His credit card doesn't work. He says you're selling the house. I am. But that's his inheritance. It's my house, Jennifer. I'm 68 years old. I'm allowed to live my own life. He's drowning. We have bills. We have a mortgage. Diana was helping, but now she's asking for conditions. She wants control over everything. How we raise Emma. Where she goes to school. Everything. Then don't take her money. We don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice, Jennifer. Michael made his. I'm making mine. She was quiet for a long time. Did he really push you? At the party? Yes. I thought it was an accident. I thought you just fell. He pushed me, then he laughed. I could hear her breathing on the other end, sharp, quick. I didn't know. Now you do. She hung up. That night, Michael called again. I answered this time. Mom, what are you doing? You're selling the house? Yes. But that's my inheritance. You can't just... It's my house, Michael. I can do what I want. Is this because of the party? I'm sorry, okay? I was stressed. I didn't mean... This isn't about an apology. This is about you learning what happens when you treat people like they're disposable. Mom, please. I need... Goodbye, Michael. I hung up. Set the phone down. My hands didn't shake. For months, I'd been the one waiting. Waiting for his calls, waiting for his texts, waiting to be needed. Now he was the one waiting. And I wasn't coming. Emma asked about me. Jennifer told me later. She'd asked every day that first week. Where's Grammy? Why doesn't she call? Michael told her I was busy. But Emma kept asking. Is she mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Michael didn't know what to say. Because how do you tell your daughter that you pushed her grandmother? That you laughed at her? That you chose money over the woman who raised you? You don't. So he lied. Grammy's just busy, sweetheart. She'll call soon. But I didn't call. And the days became weeks. And Michael started to understand. This wasn't a tantrum. This wasn't a phase. This was real. I wasn't coming back. Not until he earned it. The for sale sign stayed in the yard, bright, visible, a reminder. The insurance bills piled up on his counter, unpaid. The credit card sat in his wallet, useless. And the $500 that used to appear every month? Gone. He was on his own now. Exactly where he needed to be. I set the phone down. My hands were steady, calm. For the first time in months, I wasn't the one waiting by the phone. He was. 3 months passed. The house sold in 2 weeks. A young family, 2 kids. They loved the garden, the oak table, the brass lamp. I kept the lamp and the photos. Everything else went with the house. I moved into a 1-bedroom condo by the lake. 3rd floor, large windows. I could see the water from my kitchen, watch the sun rise every morning. It was quiet, clean, enough. I didn't need the 4 bedrooms anymore. Didn't need the yard. Didn't need the memories in every corner. I needed to breathe. The day the new family moved in, Michael drove by. I heard about it from Patricia, the realtor. He sat in his car across the street, watched the moving truck, watched the children run around the yard. Around the oak tree, he and his father had planted 35 years ago. He called me that night. How could you do this? I did what I needed to do. That was my home. It was my home first. He hung up. I didn't call back. By the end of the first month, Michael lost his job. Richard told me. The company was downsizing. Michael was let go, first on the list. No severance, just a box of his things and a handshake. He'd been making $72,000 a year, not enough to cover his debt, but enough to make minimum payments, enough to survive. Now he had nothing. The debt didn't stop. $180,000. Credit cards still charged interest, 23%, compounding monthly. The number grew. 190,000, 200,000, 210,000. The bank sent notices, certified mail, threatened to repossess his car. He needed that car, to look for work, to see Emma. Diana offered to help, but there were conditions. You'll do what I say, about Emma, about everything. Michael had no choice. He took the money, paid the minimum on the car loan, bought groceries, kept the lights on. But Diana's conditions were real. She decided Emma's school, her schedule, her activities. Jennifer hated it. I know because she called me once. Just once. Your son is drowning, Margaret, and you're just watching. I'm letting him learn to swim. What if he doesn't? Then he'll understand what it means to sink. She didn't call again. Michael started drinking. Not heavily at first, just a beer after dinner, then two, then whiskey, a glass before bed, then a glass before dinner. Jennifer found the bottles, under the sink, in the garage, in his car. She confronted him. They fought, loud. Emma heard everything from her room. You need help, Michael. I need money. You need to stop waiting for your mother to die and fix your life yourself. That's when he told her. About the lawyer visit. About asking how to accelerate the inheritance. Jennifer went pale. You were waiting for her to die? He didn't answer. Didn't need to. Get out. Jen, please. Get out. Don't come back until you figure out who you are. Because this person? I won't let him near my daughter. She locked the door. Michael stood in the hallway, heard Emma crying inside. He had nowhere to go. He called friends. Most didn't answer. The ones who did made excuses. Finally, his college roommate said, yes, Tom. He had a couch, a small apartment. 2 weeks, man. That's all I can do. Michael moved in with a duffel bag. Everything he owned fit in one bag. He slept on Tom's couch, no pillow, used his jacket as a blanket. At 2 a.m, he'd wake up, stare at the ceiling, listen to Tom snore in the next room. His phone sat on the coffee table, 47 missed calls, debt collectors, creditors, nobody he wanted to talk to. No texts from Jennifer, no calls from Emma, nothing from me. He'd scroll through his contacts, hundreds of names, nobody he could call. He'd open old text messages, read them in the dark. From me, 2 years ago. I'm proud of you, sweetheart. 1 year ago, love you, call when you can. 6 months ago, thinking of you today. The last message I'd sent, before the birthday party, a heart emoji. He'd stared at it for an hour. Then he'd put the phone down, face down, so he couldn't see the screen. During the day, he looked for work, applied to 50 jobs, then 100. Most didn't respond. The ones that did offered minimum wage, retail, fast food. He took one. Warehouse work, stocking shelves, $16 an hour. Morning shift, 6 to 2. He'd come back to Tom's apartment, exhausted, sore, smelling like cardboard and sweat. Tom would be at work, the apartment empty. Michael would shower, sit on the couch, stare at his phone. Emma had sent him a message through her iPad. Daddy, I miss Grammy. Can you tell her I'm sorry? He didn't know what Emma was sorry for. There was a drawing attached, crayon, a woman with white hair standing far away, a little girl crying. He saved the picture, looked at it every night. Then he'd try calling Jennifer. She never answered. Try calling me. I never answered. He was alone. Completely alone. For the first time in his life, nobody was there to catch him. On week 6, Diana stopped sending money. Jennifer had filed for separation. The lawyers were involved. Diana saw no point in investing in a family that was falling apart. You're on your own, Michael. I only help people with potential. You have none left. She hung up. Michael sat on the couch, looked at his bank account. Negative $800, overdraft fees piling up. He had $400 in cash, hidden in his duffel bag. Emergency money. That was it. He thought about calling me, begging, apologizing. His finger hovered over my name in his contacts. Then he remembered. The push, the laughter, the way I'd looked at him from the ground. He put the phone down. What could he even say? By week 8, Tom needed his couch back. I'm sorry, man. My girlfriend's moving in. I need the space. I understand. Michael packed his duffel bag. Everything still fit. He hadn't acquired anything new, just lost things. He found a studio apartment, cheapest one he could find, $650 a month, 30 square meters, no furniture, just carpet and walls. He bought an air mattress from Walmart, $39. It leaked. He'd wake up on the floor every morning. He ate ramen, eggs, bread, whatever was cheap. His phone rang constantly. Debt collectors. He stopped answering, let it go to voicemail, deleted the messages without listening. On week 10, Jennifer agreed to let him see Emma. Once a week, Sundays, 2 hours. He picked her up on the bus. Couldn't afford gas anymore. The car sat in Jennifer's driveway. Insurance lapsed, registration expired. Emma climbed on the bus, sat next to him. Quiet. Hi, Daddy. Hi, sweetheart. They rode to the park, the same park where I used to take him when he was little. They sat on the bench, shared a sandwich he'd made, peanut butter and jelly, cut in half. Emma ate slowly, looked at him. Are you okay, Daddy? I'm fine. You look sad. He tried to smile. It didn't reach his eyes. I miss Grammy, Emma said. I know. Do you miss her too? He looked at his daughter, this little girl who still loved him, even now. Every day. Can you call her? Tell her I'm sorry? What are you sorry for? I don't know. But if Grammy's gone, I must have done something wrong. His chest tightened, his throat burned. You didn't do anything wrong, Emma. I did. What did you do? How do you explain to a 7-year-old that you pushed her grandmother? That you laughed at her? That you were waiting for her to die so you could take her money? You don't. I hurt her feelings, really badly, and now she needs time. Will she come back? I don't know. Emma leaned against him, small, warm. I hope she does. I really miss her. Me too. They sat there until the sun started to set. Then he walked her back to the bus stop, rode with her to Jennifer's house. Jennifer met them at the door, took Emma inside, didn't invite him in. Same time next week? Yes. She closed the door. Michael stood on the porch, the same porch where I used to wait for him after school, where I'd greet him with cookies and milk. He walked back to the bus stop alone. That night, in his empty studio, he sat on the deflated air mattress. He thought about the house, sold, gone. The money, gone. His wife, gone. His daughter, barely there. His mother, silent. He'd spent so long waiting for me to die, counting on the inheritance, planning his future around my death. And now? Now he had nothing. Because the only thing worth anything had been standing right there the whole time. And he'd pushed it away. While Michael was collapsing, I was learning to breathe. Every morning, I woke to sunlight on the lake. The water was flat, calm. I'd make coffee, Maxwell House, the kind my husband used to drink. I'd sit by the window, watch the sun come up, watch the ducks glide across the water. The brass lamp sat on the side table, the only piece of furniture I'd brought from the old house. Everything else was new, or donated, or left behind. I joined a yoga class, Tuesday and Thursday mornings. 10 women, all over 60. We stretched, breathed, talked afterwards over tea. Nobody asked about my son, nobody knew. I was just Margaret, the woman in the blue cardigan who always arrived early. On Wednesdays, I volunteered at the library, reading to children. Picture books, Dr. Seuss, Eric Carle. The kids would sit in a circle, cross-legged, wide-eyed. They'd laugh at the funny voices I made. When story time ended, they'd hug me. Thank you, Miss Margaret. I'd hug them back. Small bodies, warm, trusting. I met Susan at yoga, 72 years old, silver hair, sharp wit. She'd lost her husband 5 years ago. Her daughter lived in California, called once a month. Do you have children? She asked over tea one afternoon. A son. Does he live nearby? He used to. She didn't push, just nodded. Understood that some questions have answers you don't want to say out loud. We started having tea every Sunday, her place one week, mine the next. She'd bring cookies, I'd bring stories. We'd sit and talk about everything except the things that hurt. But every night, when the apartment was quiet, I'd open the drawer. Inside was a box, old photos, letters. Michael at 4, gap-toothed, holding my hand. Michael at 10, wearing the red scarf I'd knitted, smiling. Michael at graduation, proud, tall. I stood beside him. We both looked happy. I'd hold the photos, run my fingers over the edges, worn, soft. Then I'd put them back, close the drawer. Some nights, I'd reach for my phone, pull up Michael's number. My finger would hover over the call button, but I never pressed it. I'd set the phone down, face down, so I wouldn't be tempted. Did I go too far? The question sat in my chest, heavy, constant. I'd given him everything, every chance, every second chance. And he'd pushed me, laughed at me, waited for me to die. But he was still my son, and I missed him. Not the man he'd become, but the boy he used to be. Richard called once a month. Updates. He's working, warehouse job, $16 an hour. He's living in a studio, small, but it's his. He's seeing Emma, once a week. He's trying, Margaret. But is it real? I asked. Or is he just waiting for me to change my mind? Richard was quiet for a moment. I don't know. Time will tell. Time. That's all I had now. Time and silence. And silence, I realized, doesn't come with peace. It comes with questions. Did I do the right thing? Will he ever understand? Will I ever see him again? I didn't have answers. I just had mornings by the lake, yoga on Tuesdays, tea with Susan on Sundays, and a drawer full of photos I couldn't throw away. Justice, I realized, doesn't come with peace. It comes with silence. And silence can be the loudest thing in the world. 6 months after the birthday party, a letter arrived. The envelope was small, pink, my address written in crayon. Blue crayon. The letters wobbled. Some were backwards. I opened it at the kitchen table. My hands shook. Inside was a drawing. 2 people holding hands, one tall with white hair, one small with pigtails. A yellow sun in the corner. The letter was written in pencil. The same shaky handwriting. Dear Grammy, I miss you. Are you mad at me? I'm sorry if I did something wrong. I still have the picture we drew together, and I keep your cookie tin under my bed. It still smells like you. Love, Emma. P.S. Daddy is sad. He cries at night. P.P.S. Can you come back? I read it 3 times. Then I cried. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep. The kind you can't stop. Emma thought this was her fault. She thought I'd left because of something she did. This innocent child, 7 years old, carrying guilt that wasn't hers. I held the letter to my chest, smelled it, crayons, children's lotion, something sweet. She kept the cookie tin, under her bed, because it smelled like me. I looked at the drawing again, the 2 people holding hands. She'd drawn them smiling. She still wanted me there. I picked up my phone, called Jennifer, not Michael, Jennifer. She answered on the 3rd ring. Margaret? She sounded surprised, cautious. I got Emma's letter. Jennifer was quiet for a moment. She's been asking about you every week. She thinks you don't love her anymore. Tell her I never stopped. She needs to hear it from you. I know. I'd like to see her, just once. I need her to know I didn't leave because of her. Jennifer was quiet again. I could hear her breathing, thinking. Michael doesn't live here anymore. We're separated. Did you know? Richard told me. Emma asks about you every single day. She thinks she did something wrong. She cries sometimes. My chest tightened. When can I see her? Saturday. The park on Willow Street. 11 in the morning. Just you and Emma, not Michael. Thank you. Margaret? She really does miss you. She's innocent in all this. I know. Saturday morning, I woke early, made chamomile tea, couldn't drink it, my stomach was too tight. I dressed carefully, the blue cardigan, clean jeans. I wanted to look like Grammy, the Grammy Emma remembered. I drove to the park, arrived 20 minutes early, sat on the bench under the oak tree, the same bench where I used to bring Michael when he was small. At 11, I saw them. Jennifer's car. Emma climbed out, looked around. Then she saw me. Her face lit up. She ran. Grammy. She crashed into me, arms around my waist, face buried in my cardigan. I thought you forgot me. I held her, tight, felt her small body shaking. I could never forget you, sweetheart. Not ever. She pulled back, looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Why did you go away? Sometimes grown-ups have problems, big problems, and we need time to work them out. But it had nothing to do with you. Do you understand? She nodded. But I wasn't sure she really understood. We sat on the bench. She pulled something from her backpack. The cookie tin. Red, dented on one side, the same tin I'd brought to the birthday party. She opened it. Inside were crayons, stickers, a folded piece of paper. I keep all my special things in here, so I remember you every day. She unfolded the paper, the photo from my refrigerator, the one of us baking together, flour on her nose. Mom let me keep it. I touched the photo. My finger traced her little face. I have the same picture, at my new place. You have a new place? Yes, by the lake. It's quiet, peaceful. Can I visit? Anytime you want. We drew on the sidewalk with chalk, flowers, houses, a sun. She drew us holding hands again. After an hour, she got quiet. Grammy, why is Daddy so sad? I chose my words carefully. Your daddy made some mistakes. He hurt people's feelings, and now he's learning how to fix them. Did he hurt your feelings? Yes. Is that why you left? Part of it. She leaned against me, small, warm. I wish we could all be together again, like before. Sometimes things can't go back to the way they were, but maybe they can become something different, something better. Will you come back? I don't know, sweetheart, but I'm here now, and that's what matters. Jennifer called from the parking lot. Time to go. Emma hugged me one last time. I love you, Grammy. I love you too, baby. She ran back to the car, turned, waved. I waved back. Watched them drive away. Then I sat back down on the bench. I wasn't punishing Michael anymore. I was grieving. And maybe, just maybe, so was he. 8 months after the birthday party, I saw him. I was at Walmart, Saturday afternoon, buying groceries, milk, bread, the usual. I turned the corner into the bakery section. And there he was. Michael. He stood at the discount rack, the one with bread marked down because it was a day old. He picked up one loaf, checked the price, put it back, picked up another. He looked different. Thin. Not fit thin. Hungry thin. His cheeks were hollow, his clothes hung loose. He wore a gray hoodie, faded, worn at the cuffs, not the pressed shirts and khakis he used to wear, not the Hugo Boss suits. His shoes were old, athletic shoes, the sole separating at the toe. He hadn't shaved in days, maybe a week. His hair needed cutting. He pushed a cart. Inside were basics, pasta, canned sauce, generic cereal, eggs, the cheapest brand of everything. He picked up a box of cookies, the kind Emma liked, checked the price, $5.49. He held it for a moment, then put it in the cart, the only name-brand item. I stood behind a display of crackers, watching. He moved to the meat section, looked at the prices, skipped it. Too expensive. Then, to produce. He picked up a bag of apples, put it in the cart. His hands shook slightly, just a tremor, but I saw it. He reached for his wallet. Old, leather, cracked at the corners. He opened it, looked inside. I couldn't see how much money he had, but his face told me it wasn't much. He stood there for a moment. In the middle of the aisle, people walked around him. He didn't seem to notice. He looked tired, not sleepy tired, soul tired. I wanted to walk over, put my hand on his shoulder, tell him it would be okay. But I didn't move. He pushed his cart toward the checkout. I stayed behind the crackers until he was gone. Then I finished my shopping, paid, left. In my car, I sat for a long time, hands on the steering wheel, not moving. He was learning, the hard way, but he was learning. 2 weeks later, Richard called. Margaret, I have an update on Michael. Go ahead. He's been working steadily, 10 months now, warehouse job during the day, 6 to 2. Then he picked up a second job, security guard, 3 nights a week, 10 to 6 in the morning. 2 jobs? Yes, he's paying down the debt, slowly, $200 a month. It'll take years, but he's doing it. I calculated in my head, $200 a month for $210,000. That was 87.5 years. No, he'd been making progress. Richard said he'd already paid off some. How much has he paid? $40,000 so far. He's down to $170,000. $40,000 in 10 months. $4,000 a month. That meant no extras, no restaurants, no entertainment, just work, debt, survival. He sold everything he didn't need, Richard continued. His watch, his golf clubs, some furniture, even his wedding ring. His wedding ring? He sold it to pay Jennifer back. Money he'd borrowed from her years ago. She didn't ask for it, he just did it. I looked out my window. At the lake. The water was gray today. Cloudy. Is he still drinking? He went to AA, 3 months sober. And therapy? Once a week. He's using the basic insurance from his warehouse job. It's not much, but he goes. I was quiet for a long time. Richard, is this real? Or is he just waiting for me to change my mind? Margaret, I've known Michael since he was born. I watched him grow up. I've seen him at his best and his worst. And I can tell you this. He hasn't asked about the will, not once. He hasn't asked about you. He only asked me one thing. What? He asked if I could tell you he's trying. That's all. No requests, no manipulation, just that he's trying. I closed my eyes. Thank you for telling me. There's one more thing. What? He's been keeping a journal, tracking every dollar, every expense. It's detailed, meticulous. He showed it to me last week, not because I asked, but because he wanted someone to know he's serious. After Richard hung up, I sat by the window for an hour. A few days later, Jennifer called. The first time in months. Margaret, I need you to know something. Michael has changed. I didn't respond, just listened. I didn't believe it either, but he wrote a letter to Emma, admitting what he did, explaining why it was wrong. He's teaching her about consequences, about respect, about not treating people as disposable. What did the letter say? He told her he hurt you, that he pushed you, that he was wrong. He didn't blame you. He didn't blame anyone but himself. My throat tightened. Last week, Emma wanted a toy, $35. Michael said no. He explained they couldn't afford it because he made bad choices with money. Emma asked if that's why you left. And he said, quote, Grammy didn't leave. I pushed her away, unquote. I felt tears building. I blinked them back. Why are you telling me this? Because Emma needs to know her father can change, and maybe she needs to see that you believe in second chances too. I'm not asking you to forgive him. I'm not even sure I have yet. But Emma asked me to tell you. She said if Daddy is trying, maybe Grammy will come home. I looked at the photos on my side table. Michael at 4, at 10, at graduation. Thank you for telling me, Jennifer. I need time to think. Take all the time you need. After she hung up, I opened the drawer, pulled out the box of photos, looked at them one by one. I wanted to believe he'd changed. But belief is easy. Trust has to be earned. And I wasn't ready to spend it yet. The third Saturday, Emma and I met at the park again. It had become our routine. Every other week, 11 in the morning, the bench under the oak tree. She was 7 now, almost 8, growing so fast. She brought her backpack, the cookie tin, her crayons. We drew on the sidewalk, houses, flowers, a lake. She was getting better, the lines steadier, the colors brighter. After a while, she stopped drawing, looked at me. Grammy, when people say sorry, do you have to forgive them? I set down my piece of chalk. Why do you ask, sweetheart? She reached into her backpack, pulled out a folded piece of paper, handed it to me. Daddy wrote me this. He said I could show you if I wanted. I unfolded it. Michael's handwriting, careful, deliberate. Dear Emma, I need to tell you something important. I did something very wrong. I hurt Grammy. I pushed her at your birthday party. I said mean things. I laughed at her. I was wrong. Grammy is a good person. She loves us. If she doesn't come back, it's because I didn't treat her the way she deserves. I'm sorry I taught you a bad lesson. You should always respect the people who love you. Always. Love, Daddy. I read it twice. My hands shook. Emma watched me. At school, my teacher said forgiveness is important, but what if someone hurt you really bad? I folded the letter, handed it back to her. Then you take your time, sweetheart. Forgiveness isn't something you owe anyone. It's something you give when you're ready. Will you ever be ready? She reached for my hand. Her fingers were small, warm, covered in chalk dust. I want us to be a family again, not like before, but different, better. I pulled her close. She leaned against me. I could smell her shampoo, strawberry. I don't know if that's possible, baby. Why not? How do you explain adult pain to a child? How do you explain that trust, once broken, takes years to rebuild? You don't, not fully. Because sometimes people hurt each other so badly that it takes a long time to heal, and sometimes the hurt changes who you are. But Daddy's different now. He works really hard. He's tired all the time, but he tries. I know he does. So can you try too? I looked at her. This innocent child, caught between two adults and their complicated pain. I'm trying, Emma, in my own way. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, watched the lake. The moon reflected on the water, silver, rippling. I opened my laptop, the first time in months. I searched through old photos, found the folder labeled Michael. Hundreds of pictures. Michael at 8, riding his bike. I'd run behind him, holding the seat, then letting go. He'd wobbled, found his balance. Turned around. Mom, look, I'm doing it. Michael at 15, sullen, angry. He'd skipped school. I'd had to meet with the principal. He'd yelled at me in the car. You're ruining my life. I'd grounded him. He'd hated me for 2 weeks. Then he'd apologized. With a card he'd made himself. Sorry, Mom, I know you're just trying to help. I'd forgiven him immediately. Because that's what mothers do. But this was different. This wasn't a teenager being rebellious. This wasn't a child making mistakes. This was a grown man, a father, someone who'd chosen to push his mother, to laugh at her, to wait for her to die. I closed the laptop. Opened the drawer. The one with the red scarf. The one Michael had returned through Jennifer. With a note. I don't deserve to keep this. I held it. The yarn was soft, worn. I'd made it when he was 10. He'd worn it every winter for years. Then he'd grown up, stopped wearing it. I'd found it in a donation bag once, pulled it out. This is special, Michael. I made it for you. He'd shrugged. I don't wear kid stuff anymore, Mom. But he'd kept it. And years later, he'd worn it again. To Emma's birthday party. The party where he pushed me. I looked at the scarf, felt the weight of it in my hands. Was I holding on to anger? Or was I protecting myself? Maybe both. My phone sat on the table. I picked it up, opened Michael's contact. My finger hovered over the call button. Part of me wanted to hear his voice, wanted to know if the change was real, if the man who wrote that letter to Emma was the same man who'd laughed at me on the ground. But the rest of me was afraid. Afraid he was just performing. Afraid this was temporary. Afraid he'd revert the moment I forgave him. I set the phone down, face down. Not yet. He had to prove it wasn't just words, that it was real, that it would last. I looked at Emma's drawing, the one she'd left with me. 3 people holding hands. Me, her, Michael. She'd drawn us smiling. I wondered if we'd ever smile like that again. Emma's question stayed with me. Will you ever be ready? I didn't know. But I knew I wouldn't forgive just to make things comfortable. That's not love. That's surrender. 1 year after the birthday party, Richard asked to meet me for coffee. Not at his office, at the small cafe by the lake, the one with the outdoor tables. I arrived first, ordered chamomile tea, sat outside. The air was cool. October. The leaves were turning. Richard arrived 5 minutes later. He carried a manila envelope, thick. He sat down, ordered coffee, black, no sugar. Then he slid the envelope across the table. Margaret, Michael asked me to give this to you. I stared at it, didn't touch it. What is it? Open it. I pulled the envelope closer, opened the clasp. Inside were 2 items. A small savings passbook and a notebook. The passbook was new, opened in Emma's name. The entries were handwritten, dated. $50, every week, for 40 weeks. $2,000 total. I looked at Richard. He's been setting aside money, from his paychecks, every week for 10 months, It's for Emma's future. I opened the notebook. Page after page of careful entries. Week 1, $50. From first paycheck at warehouse, for Emma's education. Week 2, $50, worked overtime to make it happen. Week 3, $50, skipped lunch 3 days to save. Each entry was the same, $50, with a note about where it came from, how he made it work. I flipped through the pages, my throat tightened. At the front of the notebook, taped to the inside cover, was a note. For Emma's future, from the money I earned, not inherited. I want her to know that real security comes from work, not waiting for someone to die. I want her to know her father learned this lesson too late, but he learned it, and I want her to know that her Grammy was the one who taught me, even if it hurt, especially because it hurt. My eyes burned. I blinked. Hard. Richard leaned forward. He's been working 2 jobs for 10 months, paying down debt, $200 a month, but he set aside $50 every week for Emma, no matter what. Why didn't he just tell me? Because he's not doing this for you. He's doing it because it's right. He hasn't asked for anything, Margaret. Not once. Not about the will, not about the house. Nothing. He only asked me to show you this, to prove he's serious. I looked at the passbook again. $2,000. It wasn't much, but it was everything to a man who had nothing. There was something else in the envelope. A photo. Michael and Emma. At the park, sitting on a bench, they were eating sandwiches. Simple, homemade. Both of them smiling. Not the forced smiles from before, real ones. On the back, Emma had written in crayon, "Daddy works hard now. I'm proud of him." I set the photo down. My hands were shaking. Is he doing this because he wants me back? Or because it's the right thing? Richard sat back. Thought about it. I can't answer that with certainty, but I can tell you what I've seen. He hasn't mentioned you except to ask if you're well. He hasn't asked about your assets. He hasn't tried to manipulate me or Jennifer or anyone else. He just works, pays his bills, sees his daughter, and saves for her future. He could be waiting, playing the long game. He could be. But Margaret, I've known him his whole life. I've seen him lie. I've seen him scheme. This doesn't look like that. This looks like a man who's genuinely trying to become someone better. I closed the notebook, the passbook, put them back in the envelope. I need more time. Richard nodded. Take all the time you need, but don't wait so long that you lose the chance to see who he's becoming. People spend their whole lives waiting for perfect. Sometimes good enough is a miracle. After Richard left, I sat at the table for a long time. The lake was calm. A family of ducks glided past, the mother in front, 5 ducklings following. They stayed close, a neat line. Then the mother dove underwater, disappeared. The ducklings waited, circled, nervous. When she surfaced, they rushed to her, followed her again. I thought about that. About letting go, about coming back, about trust. That night, I opened the envelope again. Read every entry in the notebook. Week 17. $50. Michael worked a double shift. 15 hours. Worth it for Emma. Week 23. $50. Gave up Netflix, cable. Don't need them. Emma needs this more. Week 31. $50. Emma asked for new shoes. I said we'd get them next month. Put this away first. He was choosing her future over his present. The way a parent should. The way I'd tried to teach him. I looked out at the lake. The sun was setting. Light broke through the clouds. Golden. Soft. Maybe redemption doesn't look like a wide open door. Maybe it looks like a crack of light. Just enough to see through. Just enough to hope. 2 weeks later, another envelope arrived. Hand delivered. Emma brought it during our Saturday meeting at the park. Daddy wanted me to give you this, for my birthday. An invitation, handmade, not printed. Emma had drawn on it. Crayon flowers, a sun, 2 stick figures holding hands. You're invited to Emma's 8th birthday, Saturday, October 21st, 2 p.m., Riverside Park. Please come. Love, Emma. Below her writing, in Michael's careful handwriting, Mom, I understand if you don't come, but Emma wanted to invite you, and I wanted you to know you're welcome. Always. Michael. I held the invitation. The same date. 1 year later. But a different place. Not the house. A public park. Will you come, Grammy? I looked at Emma. She'd grown so much. Taller. Her face less round. More like Jennifer's now. I don't know, sweetheart. Please? It won't be like last time, Daddy promised. It's just a small party. Me, Mom, you, Daddy, and a few friends from school. What about Diana? Emma shook her head. Grandma Diana doesn't come anymore. Mommy said she's busy. Translation: Diana had moved on, found another family to invest in. I looked at the invitation again, at Michael's handwriting. I'll think about it. That night, I called Jennifer. Margaret, I was hoping you'd call. Is this real? The invitation? Yes. Emma asked Michael if she could invite you. He said yes immediately. No hesitation. Will he be there? Yes. But Margaret, he's different. I mean it. He doesn't expect anything. He just wants Emma to have her family. All of it. I was quiet for a long time. What changed? Jennifer took a breath. Everything. He works constantly. He comes to pick up Emma on the bus because he can't afford gas. He brings sandwiches he made himself. He's gentle with her. Patient. He listens. And with you? We're trying. Slowly. He moved back in last month. Into the guest room. We're not back together. Not yet. But we're trying to rebuild. For Emma. And maybe for us. What made you let him come back? He changed, Margaret. Really changed. He goes to therapy. He's been sober for 6 months. He paid off $60,000 of debt. And he did it all without asking anyone for help. Not me. Not Diana. Not you. $60,000 in 1 year. On top of the $2,000 for Emma. How? 2 jobs, eating ramen, no extras, no complaints, just work and sacrifice. I thought about the man I'd seen at Walmart. Thin, worn, tired. Does Emma know what he did? At the party last year? She knows, Michael told her. He didn't wait for her to find out. He sat her down, explained, apologized. She cried, he cried, but she forgave him. Children forgive easily. She's smarter than you think. She asked him why he did it. And he told her the truth, that he was waiting for you to die so he could have money, that he was selfish, that he hurt the person who loved him most. My chest tightened. What did she say? She asked if he was still that person. He said no, and she believed him. After we hung up, I sat by the window. The lake was dark, just a few lights from houses across the water. I thought about the last birthday party. The push, the laughter, the broken music box. Could I go back to that place, even if it was different now? The next morning, I made a decision. I called Jennifer. I'll come, for Emma. Thank you, Margaret. The days leading up to the party felt long. I kept changing my mind. One moment, I'd think yes. The next, no. I chose a gift carefully. A leather journal, beautiful, with Emma's name embossed on the cover. Inside the front page, I wrote, "Your story matters. Write it with truth and kindness." I also bought a new music box, the same kind as before. It played "You Are My Sunshine." And I knitted a scarf, blue, Emma's favorite color. It took me 2 months, every stitch, careful, deliberate. On Saturday morning, I dressed in the blue cardigan, the same one from last year. I'd washed it, pressed it. It looked new now. I stood in front of the mirror, looked at myself. I'd aged this year, more gray in my hair, more lines around my eyes. But I looked stronger somehow, steadier. Richard had offered to drive me. I'd said yes. He picked me up at 1:30. Ready? No, but I'm going anyway. He smiled. That's courage, Margaret. We drove to Riverside Park. It was different from last year. No big house, no expensive decorations, just picnic tables, balloons tied to trees. Simple, honest. There were maybe 15 people. Emma's friends from school, their parents, Jennifer, and Michael. I got out of the car slowly, held the gifts. Emma saw me first. She ran. "Grammy, you came! You really came!" She threw her arms around me. I held her tight. I wouldn't miss it for the world, sweetheart. Jennifer walked over, hugged me. Thank you for being here. Then I saw him. Michael stood by the picnic table. He wore a white button-down shirt, clean, ironed, not expensive, just neat. He'd shaved, cut his hair. He looked healthier than at Walmart, still thin, but not starving. He saw me, stopped what he was doing. We looked at each other across the park. He didn't smile, didn't wave, just stood there. Then he walked toward me, slow, careful, like approaching something fragile. He stopped a few feet away. Mom, thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. His voice was different, quieter, humbler. I came for Emma. I know. We stood there, mother and son, a year of silence between us. How are you? I asked. I'm okay, working, trying. I heard. He nodded, looked at the ground, then back at me. I'm sorry, Mom, for everything, for pushing you, for waiting for you to die, for being the kind of person who could do that. I didn't respond, just looked at him. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just need you to know I see it now, what I did, who I was, and I'm spending every day trying to be someone different. And who are you now? He glanced at Emma. She was showing her friends the journal I'd brought. Someone trying to be the father she deserves, and maybe, someday, the son you deserved. You were always my son, even when you hurt me, even when I walked away. His eyes went red, wet. He blinked hard. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you, Michael. I left because I loved you enough to let you fall. I know, I understand that now. Emma called from the table. Daddy, Grammy, come see the cake. It was simple. From a grocery store, white frosting, pink flowers, happy birthday Emma in blue letters. Not fancy, but it was hers. We gathered around, sang happy birthday. Emma blew out the candles. She opened presents, laughed, thanked everyone. When she opened mine, she gasped. Grammy, it's beautiful. She held up the blue scarf, wrapped it around her neck immediately. You made this? I did. I'll wear it every day. She opened the music box next, wound the key. You Are My Sunshine, played. She looked at me, at Michael. This is the best birthday ever. Everyone I love is here. After cake, Michael and I sat on a bench. Emma played with her friends nearby. How's work? I asked. Hard, but good. I'm learning a lot. 2 jobs is a lot. I need to pay off the debt, and save for Emma. I can handle it. You've paid off 60,000? 62,000 now, 108,000 left. I did the math. At his current rate, another 3 years. Maybe 4. That's a long time. I have time. I'm not waiting for shortcuts anymore. We sat quietly, watched Emma play. Mom, I need to tell you something. I go to therapy every week. My therapist asked me to write down what I learned from you, not what you taught me with words, what you taught me by walking away. He pulled a folded paper from his pocket, handed it to me. I opened it. Read. You taught me that love isn't unconditional tolerance. It's holding people accountable. You taught me that real strength is letting go when holding on hurts both of us. You taught me that consequences aren't punishment, they're lessons. You taught me that the people who love you most will let you fall, because that's how you learn to stand. Thank you for loving me that much, even when it hurt you, especially when it hurt you. I folded the paper, handed it back. My throat was tight. I couldn't speak. Emma ran over. Grammy, can you come to my school play next month? I'm the narrator. I looked at Michael. He nodded slightly. I'll be there, sweetheart. And Daddy too? If Grammy says it's okay, Michael said quietly. I looked at him. This man who'd hurt me, who'd changed, who was trying. Yes, your daddy too. Emma hugged us both, ran back to her friends. Michael and I sat in silence. When I left that day, I didn't hug him. I wasn't ready. But I looked back, and he was still standing there, watching. That was enough for now. Emma's school play was 3 weeks later, a Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. The school auditorium was small, folding chairs, a stage with velvet curtains, the smell of floor wax and old books. I arrived early, found a seat in the third row, center, where Emma could see me. Parents filled in around me, talking, laughing, taking pictures of the empty stage. Then I saw him, Michael, walking down the aisle, looking for a seat. He wore the same white shirt from the birthday party, clean, pressed. He carried a small bouquet of flowers, daisies, yellow, Emma's favorite. He saw me, stopped. For a moment, he looked like he might turn around, leave. But then he walked over. Mom, hi. Hi. Is this seat taken? I looked at the empty chair beside me, then at him. No. He sat down, left one seat between us, a buffer, space to breathe. We sat in silence, both looking at the stage. How have you been? He asked finally. I'm well, you? Tired, but good. Still working 2 jobs? Yes, but I might drop the night shift soon. Jennifer thinks I need more sleep. She's probably right. He nodded, set the flowers on his lap, adjusted them, put them down again. His hands were rough, calloused, working hands now, not the soft hands of an office worker. Mom, The lights dimmed, the curtain opened. Emma stood center stage. She wore a simple dress, blue, the scarf I'd knitted wrapped around her neck. She saw us, both of us, sitting together. Her face lit up. She smiled so wide I thought her face might break. The play started. Emma narrated, her voice clear, confident. She didn't stumble once. During intermission, Michael turned to me. She's been practicing for weeks. Every night, she'd make me and Jennifer sit on the couch. We'd have to watch her read the whole thing, over and over. She's good. She is. We were quiet for a moment. Mom, can we talk, after this? I looked at him, really looked. His eyes were different, clearer, not desperate anymore, not scheming, just tired, and maybe hopeful. Okay. After the play, Emma ran to us, still wearing her costume. You came, both of you, together. She hugged me, then Michael, then grabbed both our hands. Did I do good? You were perfect, I said. The best narrator ever, Michael added. She beamed. Then her friends called her. She ran off. Michael and I stood in the lobby, parents streaming past us, kids running, noise everywhere. Want to walk? He asked. Where? Just outside. It's too loud in here. We walked out to the parking lot. The air was cold. November now. My breath came out in clouds. We walked toward the edge of the lot, away from the cars, the lights. Michael stopped, turned to me. Mom, I need to say this, before I lose the courage. I waited. I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I need you to hear it again. I'm sorry for pushing you, for laughing, for treating you like you were nothing, for waiting for you to die, for being that person. His voice cracked. He looked down, then back up. I was drowning, and instead of asking for help, I just waited for something to save me, someone to save me. Why didn't you ask? Pride, shame, fear. I don't know. I thought asking for help meant I'd failed, so I waited for the easy way out, for money that wasn't mine, for a life I hadn't earned. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. Every night I think about that moment. You on the ground, me laughing, everyone watching, Emma hiding, and I think, who was that person? How did I become him? And who are you now? He looked at Emma through the window. She was with Jennifer, showing her the flowers. Someone trying to be worthy of that little girl, someone trying to prove that people can change, not because they have to, but because they choose to. I'm not asking you to forgive me, Mom. I don't deserve it. I just need you to know I see it now. What I did, what I lost, and I'm trying to earn it back. Not your money, not your house, just your respect, maybe your love again someday. I looked at him. This man who'd hurt me so deeply, this man who was trying so hard. Michael, I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I never stopped. His breath caught. Then why? I left because I loved you enough to let you fall. Because you needed to learn that actions have consequences. that you can't treat people as disposable and expect them to stay. That real security doesn't come from inheritance. It comes from who you are. I know that now. Do you? Really? Yes, I know it because I lost everything, and I survived. I built something from nothing. It's not much, but it's mine. I earned it. We stood in the cold parking lot, two people who'd hurt each other, trying to find a way back. I can't promise everything will go back to how it was, I said. I don't want it to. The old way was broken. I want something new, something better, even if it takes years. Jennifer called from the door. Time to go home. Michael looked at me. Can I call you, sometimes? I thought about it. About trust, about time, about cracks of light. Yes. Thank you. He walked toward the door, then stopped, looked back. I love you, Mom. I felt tears coming. I blinked them back. I love you too. He smiled. Small, fragile, but real. Then he went inside. I stood in the parking lot, alone, but not empty. When I left that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a year. Hope. 2 weeks after the play, a letter arrived. Not an email, not a text, a real letter, in a white envelope. My address written in Michael's careful handwriting. The postmark said early morning, 5 a.m. He'd mailed it before his warehouse shift. I made chamomile tea, sat by the window. The lake was gray, rain coming. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside were 3 pages, lined paper, blue ink, no crossouts. He'd written it carefully, maybe multiple drafts. Dear Mom, I don't expect you to read this all the way through. I wouldn't blame you if you threw it away. But I need to write it. Not for you, for me. Because I need to say the things I couldn't say standing in that parking lot. I realized I was wrong the day Emma asked me, "Why doesn't Grammy love us anymore?" I told her you did, she said. Then why did you make her leave? That's when it hit me. I didn't just hurt you. I taught my daughter that love is conditional, that people are disposable, that you can push away the people who love you and they'll always come back. You proved me wrong, and I'm grateful. You didn't punish me, Mom. You let me face the truth that I was waiting for you to die, the truth that I valued money more than the woman who raised me, the truth that I'd become someone I didn't recognize. This year, I lost everything, my wife, my home, my pride, my illusions. But I gained something too. I gained myself back, the version of me who used to believe in hard work, in honesty, in earning things. I'm not the same person who pushed you. I hope I never am again. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm not asking you to change the will. I'm asking you to know that you were right. Thank you for loving me enough to let me fall, because that fall saved my life. I'll spend the rest of my days trying to be the man you raised me to be. Even if you never see it. Even if you never forgive me. With love and gratitude, Michael. P.S. Emma asked me to tell you she loves you. So do I. I just forgot how to show it. I read the letter 3 times. Each time, my vision blurred. Tears dropped onto the paper. The ink smeared in places. I folded it carefully, put it back in the envelope. Then I opened the drawer, the one with the old letters, the ones Michael wrote when he was 8, 10, 12. I placed the new letter inside, with the others. They belonged together. The boy who promised to love me forever, and the man who learned what that really meant. I sat by the window, held the envelope. The rain started, soft, steady. It blurred the lake, made everything gray and gentle. I picked up my phone, typed a message. I got your letter. Thank you for being honest. Let's take it one day at a time. I hit send. 3 dots appeared immediately. He was waiting. Maybe he'd been waiting since he mailed it. Thank you. That's all I'm asking for. I set the phone down. The rain continued. The lake disappeared into fog. But inside, something felt lighter. I folded the letter one more time, put it with the childhood ones. The boy and the man, both learning, both growing. Both mine. 15 months after the birthday party, we found our rhythm. Not the old rhythm, something new, quieter, more careful. Michael and I met every Saturday morning, at the park, the bench under the oak tree, the same place I used to bring him when he was small. We'd sit, talk, sometimes about Emma, sometimes about his work, sometimes about nothing important. He never asked about the will, never asked about the house, never asked for anything. He just showed up, every Saturday. On time. Jennifer and I had dinner together once a month, at her house. Michael cooked, simple food, pasta, roasted chicken, nothing fancy. Emma would sit between us, tell us about school, about her friends, about the books she was reading. And I'd watch Michael, the way he listened to her, really listened, the way he made her laugh, the way he was present. Not the man who pushed me. Someone different, someone better. One Saturday, we sat on the bench. December now. Cold. Our breath came out in clouds. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you forgive me?" I looked at the lake. The water was still, frozen at the edges. I thought about the question, really thought. "I'm working on it, and that's more than I thought I could say a year ago." He nodded. "That's enough. That's more than I deserve." You know what I learned through all this? What? Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about deciding that the person who hurt you is no longer the person standing in front of you. And am I? I looked at him, his face weathered, tired, but honest. "You're getting there, and so am I." He smiled, small, fragile. "I'll keep trying, every day, for the rest of my life." That's all any of us can do. We sat in silence, watched the ducks on the lake, a mother and her ducklings. Even in winter, they stayed together. That afternoon, Emma came to my condo. We baked cookies, my mother's recipe, the same ones from that birthday party. She wore the blue scarf I'd made, even inside. She said it made her feel close to me. While the cookies cooled, she drew, crayons on paper. 3 people holding hands, me, her, Michael. All of us smiling. She handed it to me. "This is us now, Grammy. We're not perfect, but we're together." I hung it on my refrigerator, next to the old photo of us baking, before everything broke, before everything healed. People think justice is loud, that it comes with shouting and slamming doors. But the loudest justice is the one that doesn't say a word. It's consequence. It's silence. It's watching someone you love fall and not catching them, because that's the only way they learn to stand. I didn't punish my son. I let life teach him what I couldn't. And in the end, he didn't just learn. He grew. He became the man I always hoped he'd be. Not because I forced him, but because he chose it. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with less pain. It means looking at the person who hurt you and seeing both who they were and who they're becoming. And sometimes, that's enough. If you're watching this, and you've ever been pushed aside by someone you love, know this. You don't owe anyone forgiveness, but you owe yourself peace. And sometimes, peace means walking away, until they're ready to walk toward you. Sometimes, it means giving them a second chance, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to see if people can really change. Comment below if you've ever had to make this choice. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for being here with me. Take care of yourself. You matter. Justice isn't revenge. It's a consequence. And love isn't staying. It's knowing when to let go and when to let someone back in.